Okay, this is the Rational Gamers. Welcome to the weekly podcast. This is Marty again.
With Karl?
Yeah, we've got rid of Nick again just for one more week, so we'll see how we get on. This week we're going to be talking about Far Cry Primal, talking about Hololens, about Apple being shady gits, about the BBC being pretty cool, and Call of Duty being shit. Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah, pretty good week. So, let's start off with Far Cry.
Right, so for anyone who doesn't know, basically Ubisoft have, it was leaked originally that there was a new game called Far Cry Primal coming out, and Ubisoft have later confirmed this. It looks like sort of a kind of a prehistoric age level game, and it's got the Far Cry name on, but it doesn't particularly look that Far Cry-ish.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, they've been talking about Far Cry with dinosaurs for a while, and because Ubisoft is so clever, they decided to make it instead Far Cry in the Ice Age, which means no dinosaurs. So the coolest element of Far Cry with dinosaurs has actually been taken away and replaced with shit things like mammoths.
And rocks and sticks.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, a woolly mammoth is a shit elephant. So we're in this weird, I don't know. We've got basically a Far Cry game with shit animals, apart from a saber-toothed tiger, which is actually kind of cool, and with no guns, because obviously nobody liked guns in a shooting game. And instead we've just got spears and rocks and feces, I assume.
Hopefully feces.
Yeah, feces would be good. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Carlton?
In some ways it's a good thing, and some ways it's a bad thing. I'll start with what probably is the bad thing. Is this Ubisoft trying to annualize another franchise like Assassin's Creed?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of Ubisoft's kind of staples that they seem to be doing now, is they just keep bringing out these games that are very iterative, and you just have a new one every year, and you know without a doubt that the next one is coming the next year. Far Cry was one of those where it wasn't like that. You got a Far Cry every 3 or 4 years. It was a big thing when they came out, but now if they're just going to be releasing a mainline Far Cry followed by a smaller Far Cry, are we going to be Far Cried out?
Yeah, I think that's fair. For me, my worry is that this is just going to be another Far Cry game. I mean, Far Cry started off really good, had a bit of a weird area with 2, and then 3 really found its footing. With 4, it was basically 3 Mark II. And I'm kind of worried that this is going to be a similar thing, in that they're not going to change any of the open world elements of it. They're not going to change the fact that you have to climb a very tall tree in order to see part of the map. And all of those things have now become, I don't know, they're just all over the place. And I kind of hope that it will be more along the lines of Blood Dragon, that they try something really different and try something that's a bit out there, and I don't know, make something new.
Saying that though, Far Cry Blood Dragon, as different as the kind of theme was and the story, it was very much still a Far Cry game, which in some sense, if you played Far Cry 3, you very much knew what you were getting with Far Cry Blood Dragon. It was mainly the themes around it, the paint, like the colour scheme that had changed, but the actual gameplay itself was very sort of samey at the time, admittedly with the inclusion of the meat throwing to distract the dragons, which even that then got brought into Far Cry 4, so then it becomes a staple of the series anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that Far Cry 4 is a heck of a lot more like Far Cry 3 than Blood Dragon was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's that I want changing. Something, making what feels like a new game while still being very much a Far Cry game is a good thing. It's when it feels too much like the last game, a la Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I could give you that. I think the best things that are going to come out of this are obviously the lack of guns and things like that. It'll give you a new way to play. Like, you can't just focus on trying to blow everything up.
Yep.
You're going to have to... I assume it's going to be very... at least for maybe like areas with humans, you'll have to be very stealthy, because you're gonna be sort of on equal levels. Whereas if you've got a massive rocket launcher in Far Cry 3, you can basically kill everything.
Yeah. I think for me, I kind of hope that it's more cooperative this time around. A Far Cry game where you're a bit more cooperative, be that with a non-player character or be that with online, would actually be kind of cool.
I think they've confirmed that it's going to be single player only.
Okay. So they're going to have to make some decent NPCs. But yeah, I think that would be a good idea, to make something that is still very much Far Cry, but makes it a bit more cooperative, make it so that, as you say, you're not just some ridiculous maniac with every single gun in your back pocket, that you do actually have to rely on other people taking out key positions so that you can then take out your position.
Yeah, and hopefully with the new theme, they'll add a new interesting story, because as good as some of the characters were in Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, the actual stories themselves weren't necessarily incredible. Far Cry 3's story was okay. It was pretty good. But Far Cry 4 wasn't that great a story. It was mainly, hey, here's a little bit of setup at the beginning. Now go off and do whatever you want.
Yeah,
and we'll meet you back at the end for the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And nothing really happens in the middle, necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, for me, with those two Far Cries, the stories were crap, but the performances were superb. The performances of both of the bad guys were far beyond anything that I've seen elsewhere, really. Whereas with Primal, I can't imagine that you're going to get a decent performance when you can't talk.
They can talk, just in a foreign language.
That's stupid. I mean, granted, they should have some form of communication, but it would not be anything to the lengths that we're used to.
Yeah, that's true.
I sincerely hope that they don't start, I don't know, discussing the weather. Yeah, because they just shouldn't be able to. They should have basic conversation, maybe. Basic directions.
But overall, would you say you're happy about Far Cry Primal being a thing, or would you prefer they left it and just waited a few years before bringing out Far Cry 5?
As I say, for me, it completely depends. If they try and make this the new Far Cry, then they can sod off. If they try and make this the new Blood Dragon, then yeah, I'm all for it. I'll give them a bit of money.
Yeah, I think I will probably get it. It's a bit worrying that they aren't. We've got this far along and we still haven't seen anything of it. That's not always a positive sign, but
not seen anything of it.
Well, they've released the one trailer, but it was only because it was leaked.
Yeah.
In the first place that they actually came out and said it. Otherwise, how close to launch would they have actually come out and said, "Oh, we've got this game"?
Oh no, they were showing it off. They had kind of a weird thing that they were doing, where they were showing off some cave paintings on some crappy live stream, and then some guys in Turkey suddenly decided, wait a minute, we actually know what this is. Let's just tweet a picture of it. So they chucked up a picture, and then Ubisoft kind of thought, oh well, we'll let this live stream carry on for a bit, and then we'll just tell people what they already know.
Great.
Yeah, Ubisoft is stupid. Oh well. Anyway.
Speaking of slightly stupid decisions, what do you think about the HoloLens's pricing?
It's, I don't know, stupid because it's expensive.
So basically, HoloLens, Microsoft held a conference last week, during this week, where they spoke about HoloLens a bit more and revealed that a dev kit was being brought out early next year for $3,000, which is a lot more than, admittedly not the same thing, but for example, VR, Oculus Rift, and Sony are currently saying that it's going to be sort of in the area of $350.
Yeah, and can I just say that was a very nice segue? Well done.
You're welcome. I try.
We're not used to anything like that on this show.
Not professional.
God, no. This is just stupid. It's interesting. It's different tech. It's new tech. I completely get that. And it's a dev kit, which is fair enough. You know, it's going to be a different price. It's going to be a bit pie in the sky. When Oculus Rift had their dev kits, they were about a third of this price, but still, they were expensive. I don't know. I'm not even that impressed by HoloLens anymore. I mean, did you see the stupid spider video?
I liked the spider video.
You're stupid. I hate you. So for those people that don't know, they had a stage demo in which they showed off some fat freak standing there, waving his hands around, firing a fake wall. Well, no, sorry, the wall was real. Well, it was fake, but it was a wall. Shut up, you know what I mean. And there were weird robots coming out of the wall, smashing through, and he was then firing at them with his hand. You saw all this through a camera, which was kind of depicting supposedly what he was firing
Similar to
at.
how they showed off the Minecraft demo.
Yes.
Was that at Gamescom, I think? Or E3? One of the two.
Yeah,
Something
time. Yeah, when they showed us that game that 90% of the world already has. And they showed off somebody not playing it very well. So, yeah, this was a bit weird. It was, I don't know. For me, it felt like he almost certainly wasn't playing the game, like he was just going through a series of movements that he'd been told to do. I don't know. I don't know if you ever heard about the first iPhone conference with Steve Jobs. The iPhone demo didn't work, and they knew full well that it didn't work. So instead, Steve Jobs had to perform certain tasks on the phone at very precise timings to make it look as though the dev kit worked. And that's how this feels.
Yeah, it did look quite staged, but I don't know. If the idea is cool, but like you say, it is staged. If it translates to what the actual product is going to be, then maybe it could be interesting. And obviously, I'm not going to walk around my living room doing these staged motions. I'm gonna if the game actually works how they say it works, then that could be cool. But at the same time, the 3DS did a very similar thing with Face Raiders.
Yeah,
and it's very sort of gimmicky. It's like a one-off thing. So hopefully the games. I don't want the games to just be sort of one-off gimmick things. I want them to be full games that you can play repeatedly. Otherwise, what's the point? You're not going to pay maybe $3,000 or maybe a reduced price when the actual thing comes out. You don't want to be paying that much money for a device just to play these short burst activities that might not work. As they say.
Yeah. What they showed off for me screamed of Kinect. It felt like Kinect. It looked a bit like Kinect. Everything was very Kinect-like. The interesting thing for me is that other people had played this demo. However, they had to use a controller. But for some reason, this guy was able to not use a controller and instead use his hands to do it.
Using wearable holograms, they said.
Yeah.
That is definitely a very weird thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to show off the wearable tech, you should let people try it. And if you're not letting people try it, then that probably is a bad sign.
Yeah, it screams that they're talking crap. Which this is Microsoft. They do sometimes. By the way, I mean, it's completely off the beaten path here, but did you see the Surface Book?
I did see the Surface Book, yes.
That looked pretty interesting. It doesn't have a hinge. They call it a fulcrum.
Fulcrum.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and so it doesn't close. It's a laptop that doesn't close.
Oh.
It can't properly close because it doesn't have a hinge.
Oh. I don't understand.
Yeah. So there's it shuts, but there's always going to be this little gap, just enough for crisps to get into.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, which is exactly where I want my keyboard to be exposed to.
Yeah, but the actual thing does look quite good.
It should be for however many £1,000 it was.
I think it was it 2,500? I think something like that. Which it's basically a big Surface.
Yep.
But it's faster. They're boasting it's something ridiculous, like a ridiculous amount faster than most other laptops.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they're basically saying it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I mean they're running on i7 tech. I mean they're running on brand new i5 and i7 tech. They're really good. I don't know. They look interesting. They don't look as revolutionary as they would have you believe, but that's what they do. They're trying to sell you these things. Of course they're not.
Yeah, it was a very weird conference in that they were just kind of yelling things and telling you they're the best at everything.
It was a very Apple conference.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple at the moment are doing crap Apple conferences, and this was a crap Apple conference. It was even the graphics they were using were very Apple.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're in a new
age
world
of Microsoft where they aren't Apple.
Yeah, very weird.
Did you see the rapper guy?
There was a rapper. No.
He wasn't a rapper guy, but he was the guy showing off the using your phone as a PC. And he said things like, "It is boss, yo." And he was very aggressive about being very gangster. Yeah, he wore a fedora, slightly slanted. That's how he was.
So is he trying to appeal to the neckbeards, or is he just so cool that
I think he did have a neckbeard.
Oh, wow.
But I may be wrong. Can't confirm the neckbeard yet.
Fair enough. Well, we'll keep you posted on that, guys. Anyway, talking about how Microsoft or Apple, let's talk about Apple.
That is a very good segue.
Thank you.
Not as good as mine.
I tried. I mean, I'm learning. Yeah. So, I mean, have you heard about this? Have you read about this? Are you aware of this?
Is it, from what I remember, is it something along the lines of they've recently done an update? Is it number 9? Is it?
I don't know. They're always doing updates.
There's an update, and basically it's broken a lot of games.
Yeah.
That would run previously, and their answer to this is basically, "Oh, they don't work, so we're just going to not let you download them now." Until I think some people are doing it until they're fixed. I know Telltale, some of their games aren't working, so they've taken them down, and they're going to presumably release them again when they're fixed. But yeah,
I mean it's an interesting idea that as we're getting to this point where technology is constantly moving forward, and especially with Apple because they're constantly bringing out new iterations of their phones and whatever, things don't work anymore, which is kind of fair enough. But you also have to respect that some people don't update their phones either. And some people just simply aren't able to update their phones anymore because Apple constantly want you to move forward, and some people don't want to. They're happy with what they have. Great. So now some developers realise that their games don't work on newer phones anymore. So in order to make sure that they don't lose ratings and whatever, they take the games down from the Apple Store. Now this is fine as long as those people that have already purchased the game are able to re-download those games. They've purchased a license to play that game on that device. Regardless of whether they delete it because they need more space. Let's face it, Apple don't allow you to upgrade your space on your device either, so that's also a point as to why they're shit, but still that's not the argument. So we're then left with this idea that some developers are removing games from their download store. They're then disappearing from people's download lists, so people have purchased a license to play the game, but they're not able to play the game anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible to think that you don't even necessarily own your games anymore. I know it's one of those things that constantly comes up with Apple products. Definitely is, do you actually own anything? It's happened with the music libraries and things a lot. There was a lady who her father had died, and she wanted to transfer all of his songs to her phone, I think, and they said no, it's his songs. He's dead now. They're gone.
I think there was an actor in particular that brought that up at one point. He'd purchased tens of thousands of pounds worth of music on his Apple products, and Apple were quite simply saying, "Well, no, if you die, it's not yours to bequeath."
Yeah, it's just not a good system, really.
Well, no, I mean, I've never been a fan of these walled gardens anyway. There are some which I've had to buy into. There are some which I've gladly bought into at times when I feel that it's done right. Especially when the price is right, after all. But I don't know. I find this very hard to justify. I fully understand if developers want to take their game down from the store. If they can't keep it up anymore, it shouldn't be available to download for people that are unable to play it. That's completely right. Quite why the Apple Store system can't come up with a method by which depending on which version of iOS you're using, different games are able to be displayed. I don't know, because that would be very simple, Apple, just so you're aware. So I don't get it. I really don't understand why. Yes, these developers can take the games down. Why are they taken down from the download list? Why can people who've already purchased the game not be downloaded? Why? I don't get it. I can't justify it. I simply cannot justify it anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't really know how what's in their contracts. I don't know all the terms and conditions, but I would say
have you seen
the
their
best.
terms and conditions?
They're huge, yeah. I'd say what's best is, for example, Amazon. They have a pretty good system. I don't know if it works with apps and things, but like their music, if you buy a CD, you get a copy of that CD automatically on your phone, and then you've got the physical CD. So even if anything happens to your digital library, you've still at least got a physical copy. I know they can't necessarily do that with Apple, but it just seems weird that Apple would just basically take your money and then as soon as there's any issue go, no, that's ours again. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, Apple are dodgy enough as it is, and they're just proving themselves to be even dodgier. And I really struggle with it. And I really don't understand why people continue to buy into that ecosystem. If Caroline's listening to this, or maybe even Kevin, I don't understand why you're still buying into this ecosystem. Why? I don't get it. If you want to argue this with me, please do. If you want to come on the show and argue this, please do. I'd be happy to have you on. God damn it.
Right. Shall I move on to the next thing?
No, I'm annoyed now.
Oh, okay.
No.
Calm down.
No.
So anyway, moving on to the next thing before Marty has a breakdown.
Too late.
The BBC have...
Don't you understand, Karl? It's too late.
The BBC have announced... I'm hugging him. The BBC have announced that they are going to be streaming the live coverage of the League of Legends World Championships on its website, obviously. So this is pretty great, really, for the gaming audience, really, because the gaming media in general doesn't seem to focus on games. Even now, it's a weird thing that we're in 2015, gaming's bigger than ever, and the gaming audience isn't represented on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first time ever, it seems we're going to be represented in a pretty huge way.
Yeah. I mean, I should stress that this is the first time for England that we're being represented. It was, I believe, earlier this year that League of Legends was first also televised on ESPN, which is also great. They viewed it as a sport and they decided to display it. I'm pretty sure it's not ESPN 1. Probably ESPN
29
or something. Yeah. But they were still doing it, and BBC have decided to follow suit. Now, I don't know whether this has got anything to do with the fact that BBC no longer own the rights to pretty much any sporting event ever anymore. They might still have...
They're like, we'll chase the sports that nobody wants.
Yeah. They're really not doing well. They have no football anymore. I don't think they have cricket anymore. They definitely don't have rugby anymore. Well, what's left?
Tennis?
They do still have tennis. Yeah, I'll take that back. They still have some tennis. I mean, not all the tennis, obviously. There's too much tennis.
Just 2 matches of the tennis.
They have Wimbledon.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
On a Thursday.
They don't even have the Olympics anymore, do they? God, they're struggling.
I don't know.
The Olympics was awesome. They did such a good job with that. Anyway, so yeah, instead, because they don't have any of those physical sports, they decided to go into this other world of digital, and they are now displaying esports live, which is great. I mean, I am not a League of Legends man. I should probably get that out of the way. I'm not even sure how to play it.
No, as someone who's not a PC gamer, I've never even really looked at it. It's never been a thing that's caught my eye. But I don't know if it's meant to be huge.
Yeah,
from what I hear from the PC audience. But if it's on TV, it could be worth a go.
Yeah, that's true. It might grow. especially when you look at the prize pool as being 1.3 million. I mean, that's
Pretty huge.
that's ridiculous. I don't even earn that, and I do a real job.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. You're a postman.
Sorry. I'm trying.
Yes, I mean, I genuinely think I might actually watch a bit of this. I mean, I do watch some gaming anyway. I always love to watch good games done quick. I also watch bits of live streaming. Not massive amount of live streaming, to be fair, but I watch loads of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I watch loads of stuff on YouTube. And it seems like the internet has always been that place to go. Like Twitch, YouTube. Those have been the two main places to go, and there's never been like... But you'd never see it on a major...
Yeah.
I know that they are major platforms, but you would never see it on a major platform outside of sort of having to actually go and look for it.
Yeah. It's always been one of those things where gaming has... Yes, it's delved into the mainstream every now and again, but the internet has always been the gamer's domain, if you like. It's where gamers are happy to go, and it's where gamers like to go for things like this. But to think that it is actually now going to be, I mean, not just kind of an element of it in the mainstream, like, I don't know, Pokemon the TV series or Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
You couldn't think of anything then, could you?
I couldn't for a second, but then for some reason Super Mario Brothers Super Show came to mind, because it's awesome.
It is pretty brilliant.
Yeah, gotta love your lasagna.
Wave your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go to the Mario.
That guy's dead now.
Aww. Way to bring the mood down.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool. Not the guy being dead. I mean, rest in peace.
You're a horrible person.
Shut up! I didn't mean that. Yeah, so it's yeah, it's nice to see the BBC going in a different direction and probably going in a better direction than they have done ever before. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're in a new age.
I'm looking forward to it too. It could be, yeah, like I say, it could be a new age. Hopefully, this will open doors to new things, a bigger representation of gaming on general media, probably.
Yeah, it's strange though because the only other game that I'm thinking would be big enough for something like this would be Counter-Strike, and I can't imagine that they're going to put up videos of people shooting terrorists in the face.
No, not quite yet. It's not the time.
So what else could they show?
I have no idea.
No, me neither. There's got to be something else.
Rocket League.
They could show Rocket League. That'd be good. I love Rocket League.
I would happily watch Rocket League on TV every day.
Yeah. There's got to be other things as well.
iDob?
Ooh, iDob.
iDob.
I'm a fan of iDob. When's that coming to PlayStation?
I have no idea. They did say it is coming, but they never specified when. I think it was an idea Xbox game, so that's why they got it first. I presume it's coming to PlayStation 4. If you go on iDob on the Xbox, at the bottom it comes up with people's Twitter comments to iDob, and pretty much every single one is, iDob is great, when is it on PS4?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question now. Yeah, I mean, it's if any of you haven't checked out iDob, I mean, we quite obviously don't get sponsored by anyone. iDob is awesome. It's a really, really good, really simple game. iDob itself stands for It Draws a Red Box.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Don't know what it means?
No, I think that was kind of the original kind of concept for it, and then it spiraled from there.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend everybody and anybody checking that out. Just for 2 to 4 players trying it out on one Xbox. I think you can actually have up to 8 players, can't you?
I believe so. It's pretty brilliant.
Really fast Twitch gaming, platforming, basic 2D platforming. It's a mix between Mario and football.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. In addition, I mean, I've been playing Super Meat Boy quite a bit on the channel. Have you checked it out on PlayStation Plus?
I have briefly yesterday. I'm not too far in. I've only done the opening few missions and the first world, but so far it's really good. The difficulty definitely ramps up quite quickly. But even though you're dying, you're not frustrated. You instantly get back in. You carry on.
Yeah.
You do it more, and then right at the end, when you've won the level and you see all those deaths,
you
feel satisfied, even though you know you shouldn't be satisfied by the fact you're so terrible at a game.
Yeah, I mean that to be fair is it kind of brings us around to the Tony Hawk's game and what they did wrong. Because Tony Hawk's, the original games, one of the beautiful things about it was if you mucked up, you just press start and then restart and you'd be right back at the start of the level again. And you could try it again. Nowadays, in order to get back to the restart, you have to press start, you have to press exit, you then go back to the main screen. You have X number of loading screens, and then you're able to get back into the game again. What a stupid idea.
Yeah, it slowed down a lot, apparently. It takes it in the wrong direction. With something like Tony Hawk, you need to follow suit with something like Ollie Ollie.
Yes.
Which is a very kind of, oh no, I failed, bam, I'm back in. And then you just keep going. You try the line again. If you fail, bam, start from the beginning.
Yeah, again, another game that got it right. And also got the 2D indie game right. In that they didn't try and do anything ridiculous, but made something that was just fun.
Yeah, Ollie Ollie was pretty awesome.
If anybody hasn't played that and hasn't got a Vita, I would recommend getting it on a Vita.
Also, on the note of Tony Hawk...
Not the musical Vita.
Yeah. On the note of Tony Hawk, it's a brief thing. Have you seen the trailer? An indie developer has developed a game called Tomahawks Pro Skating. It is an axe on a skateboard.
Okay.
That's the game as far as I'm aware. It's just a tomahawk on a skateboard doing tricks. It looks pretty terrible, sort of like your... it looks like one of those games, sort of like in the vein of Goat Simulator, like one of those kind of games that is notoriously bad that people will watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh that someone came up with that.
That's quite a good idea, actually. Yeah.
Tomahawks Pro Skater.
Yeah, I'd watch a YouTuber laugh at that. About as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm not going to go any further than that.
Oh, have you seen the game Keep Talking and Nobody Will Explode?
I've not even heard of that.
Oh my god. I mean, going back to the VR games and Oculus Rift in particular, this is an Oculus Rift game. You can play it on normal PC if you want to. The idea is that one player will be wearing the Oculus Rift and seeing a bomb in front of them, and any other players are sitting outside, can't see a single thing, but are using a manual, a physical, real manual. So the person with the Oculus Rift has to describe elements that are on the bomb. So, for example, they've got 5 wires in one corner of it, 2 reds and a blue and a black and whatever. And then the people in the manual then have to go through the manual trying to find the page with the wires on, read through what the wires have got, and then actually try and tell them which wire they have to cut.
This sounds incredibly tense.
I'm going to have to show you a video. There's the group of people that managed to do it on highest level. And it's one guy and I think it's 5 other people with the manuals. And he basically kind of says, okay, person 1, I've got the wires, I've got this. Tell me what's going to happen. Person 2, I've got this. Person 3, I've got this. Person 1, have you worked out the wires yet? Okay, which one do I got? Okay, now you look at this. And it just it's so regimented. And they actually managed to do it on the highest level, live on either YouTube or Twitch. I don't know which one anymore. It's just the best thing ever.
It sounds amazing, but also it sounds like the kind of game where if you lose, you're going to take that VR headset off and you'll actually be crying, saying, no, they're all dead.
I wonder what would happen if you cried in an Oculus Rift. Would it just fill up? Would you break the screen? Because I can't imagine they waterproof these things.
I don't know. Maybe they should try.
Maybe I should be the first person to cry in an Oculus Rift. I'm pretty sure I can do it, guys.
Can you play Oculus Rift in a bath?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Hololens, however, you'll see aliens jump out of your taps and they'll wave at them.
Point at them slowly.
Yeah, and then pose with your gut hanging out.
In your pants.
What? Why did you go in the pants?
I don't know. You might be in your pants. Oh, we're in the bath. Okay.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you bathe in your pants?
No.
Anyway, so let's get on to last but not least. We're on to Call of Duty. I don't actually remember what this was. Can you tell me?
Basically, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I think it's the digital editions of the Xbox One version are disappearing from Xbox Live. Nobody really knows why they're going off. It's literally just the Xbox versions. It's also gone off Amazon. And people have tried reaching out to both Amazon and Microsoft, and they're both being very vague about what's going on. You can still buy the physical copy for Xbox One, and you can pre-order it, but there's no digital version. And like I say, they're both being very vague. It's kind of like someone asked them what's going on, and basically Microsoft said, "Oh, we're negotiating terms. We're in negotiations with Activision to return the game to the store." So then the person thought, "Oh, so it's Activision's fault, maybe." So they spoke to Activision, and Activision said, "We're currently in negotiations with Microsoft. Blah blah blah." I can't remember the rest, but it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, to be fair, Activision put the onus on Microsoft. They said specifically, Activision did not remove the digital version of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 from the Xbox Game Store, essentially saying, we did nothing, go to the other guys.
But then when you went to Microsoft, they would say, we're currently in negotiations with Activision. And both of them are sort of giving non-answers. So no one really knows what's going on. And it's weird that it's Xbox, obviously, as the partnership originally was Xbox and Call of Duty. They've just moved to Sony within this year with Black Ops 3. It's just a bit strange that all this is going on following that as well. Yeah. I mean,
for years, Activision and Microsoft have been best buddies. The 1 year when they're specifically not best buddies, this very, very weird thing happens. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. And to be fair, I don't really care what crap is going on in the background. The thing I care about is the fact that people who want to pre-order the game, by the way, don't pre-order a game. That's a really bad idea. They are being screwed over. They're not able to do it in the way that they might want to. They're not able to do it over their Xbox, whether it might be the only place that they have their bank details, whatever else. They are not able to do what they want. And that's an issue. That's not fair, that's not right, and that's on Microsoft, Activision, whoever, to sort out. It's not the customer's fault that they're douchebags.
Yeah, and as you said about pre-ordering things, especially don't pre-order things after we've just been talking about Apple. Don't pre-order them digitally.
Yeah. Unless you're using Steam, whereby actually pre-ordering something isn't too bad a thing.
Yes.
Because if you pre-order something, you can still send it back if it doesn't work.
I'm not actually sure what's happened to those people. Presumably, people have been able to pre-order these games digitally at some point.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I don't know what's happening to those people that have pre-ordered the game digitally. I don't know whether they've been told, sorry, you're not getting your game.
Well, I assume that it's still just all legit, that they're going to be getting their game on the day, and that Activision and Microsoft both assume that this will all be sorted out by that point.
Yeah. The game is fairly close as well, so presumably they've got to sort it out quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, less than a month now, November 6th, it's coming out, and I don't know, it's supposedly the most anticipated game of the year.
That is definitely not true.
No, genuinely.
I can think of one.
Oh, no, I mean, I completely agree that everybody is looking forward to... Oh, I can't think of a shit game. Tony Hawk's.
Yeah.
That everybody's looking forward to a specific game. I mean, it's Fallout, isn't it? Everybody's looking forward to Fallout far more than this.
Yeah.
But no, there was a poll done. I can't remember which website. I mean, some random website. And yeah, Black Ops 3 was the most anticipated game of the year. Fallout 4 was second.
Wow. Another game I was thinking, if that's more anticipated, is Star Wars Battlefront.
I'm not anticipating that more.
Why?
Because I'm not. Did you play the beta?
I did play the beta.
I'm asking, did you play the beta? I know you played the beta. We've been talking.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So you didn't like the beta?
It was okay. There were big issues.
What were the main issues for you?
For me, the biggest issue by a country mile was the respawn. You can respawn right next to an enemy.
That has happened to me multiple times. That is annoying.
What the hell are we doing in this day and age? How are we at a point where you can still respawn next to an enemy?
Yeah, I think people have even realised this. Like, there was one point where I respawned next to an enemy, and he was pointing the gun at me when I respawned, and I was like, "Okay, that's terrible that it would put me right there when there's a guy clearly waiting for me." Yeah, that doesn't even work.
I mean that's dim. Whoever programmed that into the game is just stupid. Just genuinely, you probably shouldn't be driving a car because you can't do anything. You're not mentally able. You're not mentally capable.
Wow, harsh.
I genuinely don't care. He's a dimwit, or she could be. Yeah, women are stupid too.
Oh dear. But anyway, obviously there's the 3 modes in the Battlefront beta. Have you tried all of them? Or?
No, I tried one of them and just judged the game immediately because that's what people do. They judge books by the cover. And I judge this game by its cover. The cover is a disabled man.
Wow. Okay. I liked it. I would say my favourite modes. I kind of like the single player.
Okay.
Even though it's wave based and it's very, very wave based, you're kind of put into. You've got quite a large environment, and you're maybe only being shot at by maximum 10 people at a time. So there is a lot of running around. I've noticed that there's a lot of running around where you're like, where are they? You're telling me they're here, but they're not.
Yeah.
But what you experience in the single player, for anyone who hasn't played it, that isn't in the multiplayer as far as I'm aware. Well, in Drop Zone anyway, is you fight different classes of soldiers, whereas Drop Zone, there's currently, you basically play as just the normal kind of
basic
rifleman, whatever. But in the single player, you're fighting against normal stormtroopers, you're fighting against people with jetpacks, the ones that kind of hover in the air, and then when you shoot them, their jetpacks go all mental and they fly around, explode. You also fight ATSTs, which they're pretty good boss battles. They take a few hits before you kill them. You can play it co-op, I think. It's not particularly hard at the moment. You can only play it on normal, which it's fairly easy. It won't take you long, maybe 5 minutes. But Drop Zone, I really enjoy. I'd say, for me, what's great about it is I play it in third person. It's very Battlefront.
Oh, do you? I haven't played it in third person.
I played it in third person.
Didn't realise that was an option.
Because, yes, you can either hold down in the left stick, or you can just change it in the settings. I changed it to third person because that's how the old Battlefronts used to be.
Yeah.
So I play it as an old school Battlefront game, and for me, it's just amazing. It's just everything that Battlefront was, but with this amazing polish around it, except for respawns. The actual game looks beautiful.
Oh, the graphics. I mean, I never normally say that graphics make a game, but this does look absolutely fantastic.
It looks like a Star Wars film, doesn't it?
Yeah. And to be fair, it looks like an old school Star Wars film. It feels like an old school Star Wars film. It doesn't feel like the prequels. The sound effects and everything else, very much old school Star Wars.
Yeah, just running through the battlefield and hearing those pew 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 pew.
Yeah, they got that.
It's awesome.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably an interesting thing.
What?
I don't know.
You didn't have a follow through.
No, I really didn't. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
No.
That's not a good. That's where the microphone is.
I'm sorry.
Don't
I apologize.
Don't bang the microphone. Yeah. Okay. So that sounds like it's going to be the end because I think I'm dying. So that's the weekly podcast, Rational Gamers stuff.
Good close.
Thank you very much. So yeah, Nick's going to be back next week, but I'm sure we'll hear more from Karl at different points in time.
Possibly, yes.
If you're happy.
If you ever let me back on.
Well, yeah, it's if you're happy enough to. I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to feel like that about it, I don't know.
But yes, that's Rational Gamers. This has been Rational Marty with Newbie Karl.
Hooray!
Yay! And yeah, we'll talk to you next week. In the meantime, check out our Let's Plays that are constantly going up. We've still got more from Nick as well. He's still putting stuff up, even though he's in, I don't know, Bermuda or wherever he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely don't know. But yeah, that's everything for this week, and we'll catch you again next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.